Welcome to Camper Trailer of the Year 2024, sponsored by the power of REDARC. Behind me is one of the most affordable Australian-built campers in the Marlin Rear Fold with the Ultimate Off-Road package. Now it's a bit over 17 grand, which makes it easily one of the cheapest on the market. But how does it compete against the big guns in town? Let's find out. The Marlin Rear Fold is a bit of a time warp. This is a lightweight trailer with a tent on top, and it is perfect for people with small cars or small SUVs who don't want the burden of a big double cab ute or big SUV in the driveway. Its compact size is also super handy when at home. You can tuck it in the back of the garage or down beside the house. It just takes up so little room. It suits buyers who are upgrading from a traditional tent, someone who has already got a lot of gear at home and needs somewhere to store it, because it is essentially a box trailer with a rear folding tent on top.
The Marlin Rear Fold is the camper that's designed for you to get off the ground. You're no longer tent camping, you're no longer rolling out a swag. The ease of use factor in this one is that a single person can put it up by themselves. Most of the poles are already fitted in the main tent, however you'll need a couple to put up the awning that's out the front. With every camper, there's a setup time. Steve's a professional. He goes around to every camping and caravanning show and puts up his own campers all day, every day. So I got to the point that I challenged him. How fast could you do this? Fully set up. Awning and kitchen were all complete, 2 minutes 45. Now that doesn't mean you're going to be able to do that. The more use, the more muscle memory you get, you'll be able to get pretty close to Steve, but I don't think you'll do it as quick as he will. The Marlin Rear Fold was the smallest camper on show at the event. Now, with a ball weight of just 40 kilograms, you don't have to be Peter Brock to be able to reverse up to and attach your trailer to your tow tug. If you miss it and you're off by about this far, you can lift it up and move it yourself.
When we spoke to Steve about the sort of people who buy the Marlin Rear Fold, he said 70% of his client base have a modest-sized all-wheel drive. It's probably a Subaru of some nature. So this is not a bunch of people who are adrenaline junkies who are looking to take this camper out onto punishing tracks on the weekend. Having said that, if that is more your style of camping, then there's nothing stopping you with the Marlin Rear Fold. With a tiny 40 kilo ball weight and a 580 kilo tear, the Marlin Rear Fold is supported by ARC leaf spring suspension and a 45mm strong steel axle. The box trailer is made exclusively for Marlin, and this simple construction is such that Steve told us that he provides a maintenance checklist for all of his clients so that in between trips they can tighten the bolts and make sure all the fixtures and fittings stay taut and terrific. Now, I was lucky enough to tow the Marlin Rear Fold behind a D-Max in particularly sticky conditions on the Barraba track on the northwest slopes. And I have to say, there was probably few campers that would have been as comfortable towing. It did exactly what it was supposed to be, following loyally behind on the undulating tracks, on the steep descents and on the windy conditions.
We've seen Marlin at Camper Trailer of the Year many times before, and one major change for 2024 is the camper tent has now gone to a rear fold, so the entry is at a different angle. Now it might not sound like much, but it means the footprint of the tent and trailer is more like the size of a caravan, so it'll fit on caravan sites at holiday parks a lot easier. Small changes around the kitchen are also very innovative. Steve, the owner of Marlin, he's a real tinkerer, and he gets in there and just makes fine adjustments to how tables fold out, how drawers come out, and it all works really well. His kitchen is small and compact, but it's got everything you need. For the last decade or so, Steve has used an external trailer provider to build his campers on, but he recently bought that business, and in doing so, he's managed to streamline the production process by having the chassis and the tent made under the same roof. And he's realized a decent saving as well. He's passing on a claimed up to $2,000 less per camper to customers.
To ease your weary bones after a long day of driving around, you get to lie down on a full queen-sized foam mattress. The Marlin Rear Fold has a wooden base. You stop losing all your body heat and the mattress heat. The wood warms up with you and it doesn't lose that energy. So you actually get a warmer night's sleep on this foam mattress than you would if it was lying on a metal base or another type of structure. Now the roof of the main cabin inside the Marlin Rear Fold is dual lined. and in between there is sandwiched an insulation layer. Now, you can actually feel the difference on this on a sunny day. You put your hand on the roof on the outside and you'll feel it nice and warm, but you go back inside and touch the roof and you can actually feel the physical difference by some up to 10 degrees.
At its core, the Marlin Rear Fold offers a trailer-mounted tent with a 6-foot box trailer with 10,080 litres worth of storage capacity. With a 320 kilo payload, that's a lot of capacity to shove all of your favourite camping gear. With a REDARC Go block and 120 watts of solar, you could certainly keep a fridge going for at least 3 to 5 days, maybe out to a week. There's lots of 12-volt plugs scattered throughout the inside of the camper. There's 60 litres of water, which can be increased to an optional 120 litres if you ask for it. There's space for 2 4.5 kilo gas canisters and space for 2 jerrys as well. But one of the key things that turns this from camping in a soft floor tent into a really enjoyable camping experience is the high quality drifter kitchen. The biggest difference here with camping with the Marlin Rear Fold, as distinct from just camping out of a tent, is that there's the massive amount of living space that you have. Inside the annex there's enough room to have a couple of stretchers if you've got a couple of kids with you, and the awning out the front stretches out about 2.4 metres. This camper comes with a water pump and it can be isolated from the tank. Now that means that if you're dealing with water that's a little bit dodgy, you can pop it into a bucket and shower from there without risking contaminating your main water source.
The quality finish on the Marlin's trailer is exceptional. The welds are quality, and the hammertone-like finish that's coating the entire trailer, it looks durable. These are trailers built to last. And then you go to the tent, triple stitched and seam welded. They are exceptional, and the bucket on the floor of the tent, it is really deep. The parts that really matter, they are done well.
A couple of years ago when we'd seen a similar style from Marlin, it was $2,000 dearer. Now, one of the main ways that Marlin have been able to reduce that and give you value for money is they actually bought the fabricator who made their trailers, moved it in-house with Marlin, and now it's all made in one shop. All of that brings savings, and Steve from Marlin has been able to pass that directly on to you. I'd be surprised if you could find an Australian-made camper to the same quality for less money.
In a market that's intent on duplicating all of your household paraphernalia on 2 wheels, I have to say that the Marlin Rear Fold is a breath of fresh air. This is a self-sufficient camper designed for self-sufficient campers. So if you're the sort of camper who makes the most of being in the great outdoors, then make the Marlin Rear Fold your camping buddy, and I really don't think you can go wrong.